All right, we are back. Open Floor NBA podcast. Joining me, as he always does, every week from Chicago, Evan Turner and ET. I am in Orlando these last couple of days, working on one of your other passions, which is boxing. I'm down here in Orlando doing some boxing stuff. You've been on me to get on the boxing podcast at some point. We're gonna make that happen at some point in the next few months.
Bro, I would love to. Boxing's my passion. I box like 2 or 3 times a week. I'm getting into sparring, but I just like the mano a mano of it. And, the competition, especially like in boxing, you're seeing some of the best athletes in the world go head to head. And the mentality behind it is crazy. So I think you being an NBA reporter is cool, but you being a boxing reporter is even cooler. And one that people like you're not getting hunted down by the superstars to get beat up or choked out like some of these guys. It's you're doing God's work, and I appreciate that.
There's a lot of YouTube people out there that will just say anything when it comes to the media business in boxing. The media business in boxing is wild. It makes the NBA look normal by comparison. It's a very strange landscape. But I love boxing, man. I did a story. I used to love reading George Plimpton's books. He tried out to be a professional football player. He fought a pro boxer, fought Archie Moore back in the day, 15 years ago. And people that know me know this story, but I sparred with Juan Manuel Marquez, who at the time was the 126-pound world champion. He flew to New York City with his entire team. He had his trainer, he had his cut man, he was going to need that. He had his promoter, people with Golden Boy he was with at the time. And he flew to New York to basically kick my ass for 5 rounds in a sparring match down in downtown New York. Church Street Boxing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Legendary moves. Okay.
He actually asked, before the quote fight started, he asked my editor what round he wanted this to end in. And my editor was like, no. Can we just let it, don't hurt him. Don't go in there and hurt him.
Don't.
But I tell you what, ET, I probably had 60 pounds on him at that point. He was a $125, $130. I was a $180 something.
Did you land?
I landed one shot, but I think it pissed him off. I think it wasn't. I wasn't proud of it because I did land a straight right hand, and then he came back and hit me with a body shot that just buckled me. So it was. It was an experience, man.
How quick was he?
Super quick. Super. I mean, I wasn't fast. That was probably I was in my. I was in my late 20s at that point, and I felt like I was in my athletic prime. But he got me. He got me good with the body shot. There was it's gone. It's been scrubbed from the internet, but there was a video of it somewhere, and it showed me taking the body shot, and my legs just turned into spaghetti as I almost went down. I stayed on my feet. That's probably because I didn't follow up or anything. But it was something.
They're that dangerous.
Dangerous, man. Dangerous. These guys, they know exactly where to hit you and exactly how to hit you.
And it's quick.
Quick. Super quick. Super quick. It's crazy, man.
All right, well, we'll spar one day, and I'm not.
No, we won't. No, we won't.
No, don't worry.
No.
I'm not going to hit you. I'm going to stand behind the jab, and I'm going to work on southpaw
Bro,
stuff.
I'm 45 years old at this point. I am not getting in the ring with somebody ever again. I go to Rumble Boxing 3 or 4 times a week when I'm out on the road, and that's it. That is it. I still love it. I still cover it. I'll be here on DAZN on Saturday, calling some fights, but you will not see me with headgear on ever again doing that.
I feel like I need to be my sparring sessions need to teach me a few more lessons before I get out of there, because sometimes we'll be having a great time, and when we leave, I'm like, man, is anybody else lightheaded? I'm gonna lay down for the rest of the day, you know what I'm saying? But but I want to do a couple. I just want to do a couple fights. I think I don't know if I will do it because he's not worth it, but I do want to. I want to get in a ring with Lance Stevenson.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This is news.
I want to get in a ring with Lance Stevenson, just for size wise, but we also just funny history. We had a little scuffle back in the day, and I think we're at a point now where we can do it in a sense of fun and not in a sense of anger. You know what I mean?
Do you think that's possible when you get going?
I mean, if he wants to get mad, I'm gonna drop him, so it don't matter. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm keeping it cute. If it get ugly, I'm not gonna get hit or nothing. But I'm saying I have a lot of respect I don't know if I have a lot of respect for Lance. I just know there's no anger there anymore. So I think like when it comes down to like being able to get in there, and I think I'm good enough, like he'd be mad all he wants. Like I'm a Juan Marquez's ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like may not, will not. So that's all it is. But
I love it. The gauntlet has been thrown. I love it. I'll get someone to promote it. We'll put it on they do that Misfits boxing now. You can get on one of those stages at some
That's
point.
what I'm saying, bro. And I feel like this could be a big fight. Lance is legit. Lance is a personality. You get Mike Beasley on the card. A couple other psychos.
I love it.
A couple other psychos, man. You put in the middle of the right neighborhood.
I will pitch it next week to DAZN. See what we got.
All right, there we go.
NBA boxing.
Hit up Eddie Hearns. Let's see if he likes it, okay?
I just saw Eddie this morning. I'm going to see him later this afternoon. We'll see what he has to say. I love it. I love it.
Sell me like you did Anthony.
All right. There is literally no way to segue into the NBA from this, but we're going to try here. And there's a few things I want to get into with you today, ET. We've got some great storylines in the NBA. The Bulls right in your backyard, one of the best stories so far early this season. Philadelphia is 4-0 on the year, but I wanted to get your take first on the Miami Heat, which dropped to 3-2 after a loss in San Antonio on Thursday night. The Heat, the Spurs playing great basketball. We've talked about them at length, but the Heat, they're to me one of the more fascinating teams to start this season. I had very low expectations for Miami coming in. They were even lower after Tyler Hero went down or is out for a period of time with an injury. Norman Powell has been banged up as well. But Miami has been finding ways to squeeze out wins, and they've been doing it with the most ridiculous offense I've ever seen a Miami Heat team play. Like they are playing pickup basketball down there, Evan. Like they are playing up and down. They're not even running plays. They're not doing pick and rolls. It is read and react offense, the kind of stuff we have not seen, at least not at this level, from Eric Spoelstra in the 2 decades he's been, part of the Miami Heat coaching staff. Give me your take on what you're seeing from Miami to start the season.
Yeah, I think they're changing their identity a bit. They've always had a strong defensive presence, but now they're getting out more and just running. Remember back in the day, they'd be so strong in the half court. You see Bam Adebayo posting up more. They were one of the last teams with, a big man posting up. You would see them operating more, doing a lot of ATOs as well, and just drawing up and trying to slow the game down. Now they're at a pace now where they're turning their turnovers and their defense straight into offense, and they're moving at a high speed. You see Bam out of the dunker position lesser, and he's more so in the corner. You saw him last night for 31 points. Even though they lost, he's abusing Victor Wembanyama out of the corner. You have a lot more shooters and a lot of guys getting the ball out in transition. And even though Norman Powell didn't play, you're having more players that can get up and down and attack and either take it into the paint and dunk in transition or shoot from 30 feet out. And that's what they've been doing. And they've been able to make this their game without compromising their defense, which certain teams like Orlando struggle with.
This is, I think, an example of the brilliance of Eric Spoelstra and why he's always considered one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the NBA. Just reinventing this team offensively. Like they have played at a snail's pace for like every year. Bottom 5, bottom 10 for sure, even during the great years that they had in Miami. But he sees his personnel and he sees an opportunity to play a completely different style, and they've had success with it. I think my question, and I've talked to some coaches from teams that have played Miami early in the season. I think my question is like, is it sustainable in the second half of games? Because they're running, I was looking at some of the numbers this morning. Like they're not even running pick and roll. Like pick and rolls are bread and butter play in the NBA. They're running the lowest percentage of pick and rolls by a country mile than anybody in the NBA.
I think they were saying something like the lowest ever per game was 37 pick and rolls per game, and they're running like 22 pick and rolls per game.
It's nothing. Their frequency percentage like 6.6%, which is they're the only team in single digits in that category. The Spurs, it looked like in the first quarter and some of the second that Miami's style of play was tough on them. Like Miami, those teams were always in great shape. They were running, and it took the Spurs a little while to adjust to it. But once they did, they started to have a lot of success. Like they kicked the crap out of the Heat in the third quarter of that game, and they held on to win down the stretch. My question is, and you can answer this better as a former player, like, to win at a high level, don't you have to have like a sharply executed offensive system in the half court? Like even when the ball's going in the bucket, they're still running. Like they're still going up the floor and trying to score immediately. They're making like the Mike D'Antoni 7 seconds or less offense blush with how they're playing. Like, don't you need some kind of more efficient offense in the half court to succeed at a high level? Because I thought the Spurs figured them out in the second half of this game.
They struggle in the third quarter. The Spurs were able to, stop them from scoring so much in the third quarter. I think one thing that occurs with the Heat, I use it so much, but the culture. I think sometimes things can fly here that might not necessarily fly up the street or in the Western Conference. I think they comprehend culture and a level on how to win. What we spoke on with the Denver Nuggets not too long ago, their main core guys are used to winning 40, 50 plus games and playing hard every single night. So one thing about playing in that Heat uniform, there's nothing about toughness that's going to, sacrifice that. I think when they get into the playoffs or they try to start winning at a higher level, it's all about Bam Adebayo. The reason why they're playing so well now and at a high pace is because Bam was able to adapt and shift up and down, able to run. He's able to make more plays in the kicking it to the short roll and playing out of the corner. So I think it's all about what Bam Adebayo does and how successful he is. And it just shows how invaluable he is because he can play two different ways. Because even at this pace, one thing that keeps him good is that he's able to get back, guard in transition, guard earlier, and also rim protect and have a dominant man presence in an up and down finesse game that they're trying to run. And like I said, man, it's a culture. Those guys know how to play. They yet to bring back Tyler Hero. Andrew Wiggins is a champion. He just had 24 points last night. Norm Powell is scoring efficient. And you have a lot of the others that are stepping up and doing an extremely incredible job and buying in. I think when you sit here and you're doing a pace, they're far along ahead and figuring it out because they still have other layers to add. It's only game 5 and they could easily be 4-1. And they're playing with they traded in a lot of their old identity and stability that was like half court plotters into picking up a tempo, and these guys have flow, and it looks like they've been doing this for years.
Yeah, I've been encouraged by what I've seen from Jaime Jaquez Jr., who had a bad year last year, and this tempo seems to fit him and how he wants to play. I thought Simone Fontecchio was a great pickup. Like this, I heard Eric Spoelstra say this, I forget what it was, a few days ago or a week or so, when he was on the USA basketball staff, Italy was his scout. So he had a lot of looks at Fontecchio, both first in the NBA, of course, and then, watching him play for the Italian team. And he really got to like what he saw from Fontecchio. Fontecchio right now is shooting almost 60% from three. Like he has been a flawless fit for that Miami team. And I think it was entering Thursday night, they had like 7 guys that were averaging double figures. This is without Tyler Hero being part of the lineup. I think what I'm curious to see is, does the return of Hero make them a more efficient half-court team? Like, does that make them, do they not have to run up and down quite so much when you've got Hero to be the leader in that half-court?
No, I don't think they have to, but at the same time, give Hero credit. He can run up and down and score. You dang near have to stop him from shooting so damn much. So I feel like they put in a half-court offense to really tame him and get him used to playing in a half-court, because when he first came in the league, Hero was gunning. Mm. And I think last year he had such a great season. And, that the narrative on Hero has changed to the point where, hey, he's a top tier wing. He can play several different ways. He's worked hard. He's always been able to score. He's always been able to shoot, but now he's able to assist at a high level and play either type of way. It's all about when he's going to come back and if he's going to accept fitting into his role. They might be on a roll and might be like, yo, Tyler, we need 6 man in a year, Tyler. You come in, you do that, and you work your way back in, because at the end of the day, the Heat are all about next man up, winning chips, and and figuring it out.
Yeah, I think this will be an interesting road trip that they're on, because they're playing some good teams. They've got to go out west. San Antonio is obviously great. They've got to go to LA and play them. If they can come through this road trip with a winning record, I think that'll be a good sign for them and this whole new offensive system that they've adopted. Keeping it in Florida, let's talk about the Orlando Magic for a minute, who I've been very bullish on to start the year. I thought they were going to get to the conference finals. I still do. But I've been surprised at the identity crisis that the Magic seem to have suffered from, over the first couple of weeks of the season. This was a team, ET, that finished top 3 in defensive efficiency over the last 2 seasons. As we sit here recording this, they are 21st in the NBA in defensive efficiency. Now, they had a good win on Thursday night. They beat Charlotte. Everybody's kind of beating Charlotte right now. But they beat the Hornets. Their offense looked pretty good. They had a few guys in double figures. Anthony Black played well. But their defense, they gave up 50% shooting to Charlotte. And I'm kind of wondering what's going on with this team on the defensive end of the floor, because as much as I think that Desmond Bane is really going to help them offensively, their success in the playoffs is going to be about defense. Like, if they can get stops like they got stops last year, be physical, grind you down, that's how they're going to be successful. I've been kind of shocked to see them get gashed like they have in the first couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah, for sure. But they've been focused on trying to increase their pace. So last year, they probably had like 96 possessions a game. I think this year they're up to like 109 or something along that line. So when you think about it, it's kind of damn if you do, damn if you don't. The more possessions you have, the more times you're spending defending, So when you're looking at their defensive rating, which is, I don't know, probably around like 109 or something, or at last I checked, like 109. It's not the best. It's not top 5 or anything like that. But if they do get their offense together and they do figure it out, could this blend well or mold well into like the new identity they're trying to have? I'm not too much worried because it's just the first week of the season and you got a lot of guys trying to buy in. You have 2 of your younger stars trying to continue to develop their identity in the league. Like right now, Banchero's taking too many jump shots. He's shooting 43% from the field. I believe he's shooting under 30% from the 3. He's turning it over a little bit, a decent amount, even though I love that he's getting to the rim so much. But, they're still trying to shift their identity and see what works for them. Jalen Suggs was out a couple times, a couple games this year and everything like that. But the more and more you have more possessions, the more and more you're going to have more opportunities for some of the best players in the world to come downhill and score on you. And I think you're starting to see that heavily.
And they're an offensive rebounding team. So they're sending guys to crash, which...
There you go.
Kills their transition defense.
Yeah.
I guess I'm surprised that they're trying to increase the pace. Like, to me, I looked at Bane. I'm like, all right, you get Bane, who is a pretty good playmaker in the half court, a very good 3-point shooter.
Yes.
Like, they were something like 28th in offensive efficiency, 29th in offensive efficiency last year. Like, I just assumed they'd add Bane in, keep playing the same style, improve to like, I don't know, 15th or 16th or 17th in efficiency, which I kind of thought would be enough given how good they were defensively. But they've kind of tried to reinvent themselves and be more of an up-tempo team offensively. Do you think that's the right way to go? Like for this team that was so good grinding out wins last year?
No, I don't think it's the right way to go. If you do go that way, you have to disperse and put the ball in hands when it's advantageous. I'm a big Banchero fan for sure, but the numbers right now are showing when Franz Wagner has a ball and he's in pick and roll, it's a higher success rate. Even when you brought up Desmond Bane just a second ago, it's like he's so efficient in the half court based off his experience, his history, and how well he's able to shoot the ball and utilize his bodies to play. He has game to play a slow pace, up and down pace. So I think if it comes down to it, like you have to give the ball to Anthony Black, like him make decisions in transition and let Paolo Banchero get out into the great kill spots as opposed to him trying to attack against a set defense and then shoot a pull up or a sidestep 3 when it's not advantageous to him. You have Tyus Jones over there that knows how to play great basketball and get out and run. I'm really into the prototypical 6'8", 6'9" point forward. But in this position right now, in order to do so, you have to give yourself an opportunity in every possession to do what's best for the team. And I'm not dissing Paolo Banchero. I just think seeing the ball in his hands a little bit less would definitely help him because he can find rhythm and attack people and not have 5 defenders just set.
Yeah, I'm still going to be bullish on the Magic. I'm still a believer that they'll figure out this weird, awkward dynamic they have between offense and defense. I mean, Jalen Suggs, ideally by Christmas, he's up to 25, 28, 30 minutes per game. Like right now, they're still easing him back into the rotation after having surgery last season. And I think Bane will continue to get better there. They're so good defensively and they have the same guys. Like I just think they'll find a way to figure out kind of what their system looks like. Maybe slow the ball down a little bit more, play more in the half court, play ugly. They were doing that a little bit against Charlotte on Thursday night. I'd like to see more of that from them moving forward.
Yeah, and just to bring up Jalen Suggs, the past last year when Paolo Banchero went out, they still did decent because Jalen Suggs was in. And then when Franz Wagner went out, they still felt like they did very, very well because of Jalen Suggs and the intensity and tone that he sets. I think when he comes back, his natural energy is just a dog. And I think when he's around the court a little bit more and Mosley has that head of the snake, I think a lot of that pressure will get taken off Banchero and it'll allow guys to settle in and turn the game into what he wants it to be, which is a jump fest and which makes them a top defensive team. That's a dominant head of a snake.
Yeah, they're a throwback team. No question. They're the kind of team that should win the playoffs in the 90s, games in the 90s. I think that's going to be their recipe for success in the postseason. Well, everybody knows there are things you can do to reduce your monthly cost and improve your finances, but who has time to go through all of their expenses and decide what to trim? With Rocket Money crunching the numbers for you, leveling up your money game gets way easier. And I've said this before about Rocket Money. This is not an ad read from someone that does not use it. I have a lot of subscriptions out there, like most people. I forget about a lot of subscriptions. I need Rocket Money to tell me where my subscriptions are and what I should be keeping and what I should be canceling. I use it every single week. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money shows you all your expenses in one place, including subscriptions you forgot about. If you see a subscription you no longer want, Rocket Money will help you cancel it. Rocket Money's 5 million members have saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions. I have contributed some of that, with members saving up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/openfloor today. That's rocketmoney.com/openfloor. Let's talk about another surprise team, and that's the Chicago Bulls, who I had no expectations for coming into this season. The Bulls undefeated to start the year. There's a lot to get into with the Bulls, but the biggest shock to me is how productive that second unit has been. Like, they have one of the best benches in the NBA. They were a very middle-of-the-pack, mediocre second unit team last year, but they have got a bunch of guys now that are scoring. Billy Donovan has done, I think, a great job of spacing out these minutes. He's not playing, anybody, I think, over 33 minutes per game. He's got, I think, 9 guys playing at least 13 minutes, and he's done well there. What have you thought of the way the Bulls have started the season?
Man, I think they came out serious. They definitely shocked some guys for sure. So I think one thing, just being in Chicago and the energy around it, even when you're having guys, you're talking about the second unit. Kevin Huerter's been balling this whole year. You're watching Monte Bazelis go crazy as well, and they haven't even had their main guard in. So I think the energy has been around it. I think there's going to be teams this year that are going to take advantage of, having a down year and being able to turn a corner. And right now there's a lot of energy and excitement around. And I appreciate how Billy Donovan's going. There's not one real superstar, so they're going to do it by committee. And that has worked in history for, like we just talked about, Eric Spoelstra. You're going to see Boston Celtics try to do it, but they're going to get the most out of every guy in that building. And I'm loving it. As a Chicago fan, I love it. Yeah,
they have a direction for the first time in a long time. Like they have transferred that crappy version of the Bulls over to Sacramento, basically, and they're not just a team with a bunch of veterans just clawing their way to a 7 seed. They are still a team that's probably going to be clawing its way to a 6, 7, 8 seed, but they've got the right pieces for the short and long term. Like some of the guys you mentioned, like Bazelis has, I think, nearly doubled his scoring average from last season. Josh Giddey, who couldn't make a three to save his life in Oklahoma City, is shooting 43% from three this season. Nikola Vucevic, I mean, say what you want about Vucevic, and there's a lot of flaws to his game, but he's one of the most reliable scoring / rebounding big men in the entire NBA. He's almost a guaranteed 17 and 10 every single night.
Yeah, and when it comes to Vucevic, it's almost about like the front office and the team and being like, hey, give me guys to play with, because no matter what, I'm going to get you 17 regardless. They could be empty or not, but if my guys are showing up, hey, I'm a great piece. Nikola can pass the ball. He can shoot the three. He literally gets 17 and 10 without sweating. If we really want to talk deeper, we'd be like, hey, he's underperforming, to be honest with you. What guy gets 17 and 10 every year for 12 years? You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's been tremendous. The bench unit though, like this is, to me, this is going to make or break the Bulls. Because last year they averaged like 36 points per game off the bench last year. This year they're up to 48. Their net rating was in the minus last year. This year it's like +2. Like these guys they've got there. You mentioned Herter, and I was a big fan of Herter during that like one great year in Sacramento where everybody played great and Herter looked like a rising star, or at least a good 6, 7, 8th man, whatever it is in the rotation. He looks more like that guy this year with Chicago. Ayo Dosunmu has been great for them so far. Patrick Williams, like his scoring numbers are the same, but his efficiency numbers are through the roof. Like he is way up on both 3-point shooting and field goal percentage this year. And look, this team still hasn't got Kobe White back. Like Kobe White was a big part of what they did last year. He's going to be back into the mix. I think the Bulls' ability to win at a high level, and in the Eastern Conference, you don't have to win at that high level, but the Bulls' ability to win at a high level, I think it's going to come down to those guys on that bench continuing to produce at this level. I think you can count on Giddey to keep growing. He's a good player. Vucevic, like we said, is going to be that guy. But Dosunmu, Patrick Williams, all the guys I mentioned, Herter, can they be these guys for a season? Can they turn this bench from being kind of just sort of a meh kind of group into one that is a reliable, top 5 type of bench unit?
No, I believe so, because even when you brought up what Kevin Herter did in Sacramento, we go further back to his time in Atlanta Hawks. He was one of my young guys when I played for Atlanta. Remember when they played versus the Philadelphia 76ers, Game 7, he had 26 points in that Game 7 as a starter, and they went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Won that game for him.
Yeah, he won that game for him, like by himself, big time, like unbelievable. So we're talking about that type of talent coming off the bench. Almost to the point, if he can't start, yes, give him a whole second unit, because he's a 6'7" guard. He can guard, he play defense, he can shoot the three, he can play off the dribble, he knows how to play at the right pace. And now that he's healthy, he's going to get back, he's going to get to shooting towards 40% at 3. And this was once a 3-point, competitor at one point. So I believe that second unit, that second bench, and Kevin Herter is really going to shock you. And also, too, they're very versatile on the bench. So even when you bring up Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu, you're talking about 3 guys that can switch. You can switch, you can run, get down, and they can change the game with their energy and intensity. And that's what you're really looking for from a second unit every single time. How are we going to switch it up? Ayo's coming in, pushing pace. Patrick Williams coming in, locking down. And then Kevin Herter, he's just steady and he's very, very good. And if we were in a different situation, we'd be arguing for him to be a starter. NBA's just timing.
It's so good to see the Bulls relevant again. It's been so long since, and that's such a great fan base that continues to show up every single night. It's just so good to see them, playing with some direct, because they've got, like we said at the top, they've got room to grow here. Like these guys are a lot of them are in their 20s. We'll see what happens with Vucevic moving forward, but they've got the potential to be a pretty good team in this conference for a long time. And like the Giddey deal, like he just made sense for them. Like it was a good deal for Oklahoma City because they got Alex Caruso back, and Caruso made a lot more sense to them than Giddey did. But Giddey's a true point guard, man. Like that guy's a playmaker. And if forget the 43%, but if he can be in like the high 30s, he's got all-star potential. Like he really does. He's a 6'6", 6'7" playmaker. Those guys don't grow on trees.
Yeah, and also too, he's a stat junkie. When he plays basketball, he's going to do it all at a high level. And he's one of those guys, if he gets minutes, it's always going to be attractive because you're like, man, this guy got 7 assists, 8 assists, no turnovers, 12 rebounds. And even though historically, he shot 41% for the game, it was still a hell of a stat line, and he still put us in position to win. Now he's shooting with the 3-point percentage, and a couple more big games or even some finishes like you see like Ryan Rollins. Hey, Giddy will be a household name, mate.
Ryan Rollins, great contract. AJ Green, great. There's a lot of great contracts out there right now. Quentin Grimes, we're going to get to in a minute. Great contract for these teams. Yeah, great starts for them overall. I mentioned Grimes. So let me ask you about Philadelphia, which is also 4-0 to start the season. And 4-0 in the most unpredictable way I could have imagined. Like Joel Embiid has been largely healthy, but is only playing about 21 minutes per game. Meanwhile, Tyrese Maxey leads the damn NBA in scoring, averaging 37.5 points per game. VJ Edgecombe, rookie, averaging 20 plus, ready to go, ready to play, straight out of the college ranks, ready to play and be a starter in this league. Kelly Oubre has been good for them. They still don't have Jared McCain back into the mix, which is going to make them even better. On the flip side, though, like they've had some horrible defensive lapses. Like they have been truly bad for the most part defensively. I think they're bottom 5 in the NBA in defensive efficiency. Like, what do you make of Philadelphia? Like, should they be happy with this start? I mean, I guess 4-0 is 4-0. You are what your record says you are. Or are you seeing some signs of weakness there?
No, you should be very happy with the start because at the end of the day, how last year ended, there's still a lot of question marks that are occurring. You're still somewhat in a crossroad because no matter what, you have a lot of tough contracts and a lot of tough situations that don't result into a guaranteed NBA championship. And that's the point of it. But what I do love about it is these young pups are starting to have the opportunity to build an identity towards them. So this is the first time in a long time, and I didn't even believe it, that Tyrese Maxey's name almost is like this over Joel Embiid or influence in that sense. And even when I heard about the conversations coming out last year about how the culture and identity needs to change, I think anybody from the front office situation is like, hey, if it doesn't work this year, we're in a great situation because our young guys are leading the right type of way. And anytime you have a great backcourt, all you got to do is find the right type of pieces to go around it. And you get to have Jared McCain around. Regardless of what you think or not, you still want a Kelly Oubre on your team. You would still be looking for a Kelly Oubre. Now the next conversation is, and I like how Joel Embiid, he complained about the 20 minutes, but now he's trying to be more efficient in that. You saw one game where he had 20 points in the 20 minutes, but he can still be valuable in a sense of trading off him and Paul George and building some very good pieces around these young guys and saying, hey, we might get 2 or 3 steals. And when you think about it, you give away, no disrespect, if you give away Joel Embiid or Paul George, if they don't fit in well, even though I can see that working if they play their role well, in the next 2 years, you got a lot of great pieces and a lot of guys, a lot of teams departing, a lot of legends leaving. And then, even when you look at the Boston Celtics situation with Jaylen Brown, like you could trade up and already be better than a couple NBA championship contenders for the next 4 or 5 years. And that's huge. And Tyrese Maxey is not slowing down. Like, unreal. What do you think about him? Or would you trade Embiid? Would you trade Paul George? I
would do anything. No, I don't know if there's a market for Embiid. Like, they gave Embiid that contract extension, and with this injury history, I don't think there's any market for him. Same thing with Paul George. He's got 3 years left on that deal. I think these are their guys. They're stuck with them whether they want to be or not. And I don't think they're disappointed. I think they want to be with these guys right now. Like, I'm not surprised that Tyrese Maxey is. I mean, I'm surprised that he's leading the league in scoring, but I'm not surprised that he's having this type of breakout. Because we were trending in this direction anyway. It was an all-star a couple of years ago, and he just looked like the real deal. I am shocked that VJ Edgecombe was playing like this. Like, shocked. Like, I wasn't a huge VJ Edgecombe guy coming out of Baylor. I didn't love his shot selection in college. He was athletic, but was that going to carry him to a high level of success in the NBA? But you could see, like, in training camp, they were talking about what they were seeing. In the preseason, you could see signs of it. And here you go early in the season where this guy is running the floor like a madman and just creating offense, just with his athleticism. Like, he is the real deal. Grimes looks like a guy like just pissed off that he didn't get his contract, that he's going to get a good one next year no matter what. And we know McCain can play. Like, he would have been the rookie of the year mix last year if he had not gotten hurt. So you've got a 4-player backcourt that should be among the best backcourts in the NBA. And look, I'm believing that, what the Sixers are doing with Embiid, like, he's eventually going to get to 25 minutes per game and eventually going to get to 30 minutes per game. He's not going to get to 35, which he was during his MVP year, but you don't need him to get there. And if Embiid can get to like the 28 to 30 minute per game range, that's going to fix some of your defensive problems, right? Like he's at his best an elite defender. They're giving up like 50 plus points per game in the paint. That's going to change when Embiid is out there, defending the paint. And look, Paul George, at this point, Paul George is kind of gravy, right? Like he comes in, you're like, all right, Paul, you got to play more power forward this year because we have no room on the wing for you. So you've got to be up front. You got to be willing to do that. And if he can give you like 75% of what he did in LA during his final year there, you've got something. You've got a piece there. It's part of a really deep rotation.
Yeah. I mean, when you bring up Paul George, you're saying playing the four. It's almost like Paul Pierce his last few years of his career. You know what I mean? And kind of spacing out, using your knowledge. But Paul is still athletic and he can still shoot it at a very high level. I think one thing in Philadelphia that people have to adjust, even before Paul went down last year, as a third option, he's averaging 18, 5, and 5. You know what I mean? Like he didn't shoot it the best. There were certain games, obviously, where he didn't have great shooting nights, but like from your third or fourth option, if he's giving you 18 a night and shooting and doing this and a third, like he's stepping up in his role, he's starring in his role. And like you said, that has to be gravy. Like that makes them like lethal and that makes them dangerous. And to be honest with you, I know I said trade earlier, but this team could be decent and can make a push if the right guys step up and the right mentality comes in, because Maxi's going to be there. And once Embiid comes back wholeheartedly, it's still going to come back to him doing his part and stepping up and showing up in the playoffs, which we all know he hasn't done consistently throughout his career.
Oh yeah, that's the
that's a
multi-million dollar.
He was like me in the playoffs. Literally.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of pressure come playoff time, but this might be. I mean, he's had some good teams. Like James Harden was a great player when he was there. Ben Simmons was a great player when he was there. But this might be the most complete team that he's had. Like if Paul George comes back and is accepting of the role that he's now in. And I think he's trending in that direction, Evan, because I remember talking to him a little bit in the preseason, and he was much more willing to engage with that power forward role. Like you mentioned, Paul Pierce, like sometimes it takes guys a while to like say like, hey, you're not a wing anymore. You're not a 2-3 anymore. Now you're a 3-4. You got to play some minutes in that role. So I think he's reached that stage where he's like, I got my contract. Now I got to win. And I'm on a team that can win if I'm playing more power forward. I think that's going to be good for them. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get in all the action. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at Victor Wembanyama going over. Doesn't matter the stat, over on Victor Wembanyama. So download the app today and use promo code OPENFLOOR to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code OPENFLOOR.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Last one for you. Do you have any other surprises out there? Any other team that's on your radar that has surprised you in a positive or negative way?
To be honest with you, even though it's not like the best record or anything, I like how Charlotte's trending.
Okay.
I like, even like the other night, who did I watch them play? Orlando Magic. They started 3 rookies. You know what I mean? I like Knippel. I like Cyan James, obviously. And the big man, Clamburner.
Yeah. I watched it. That was the first time I'd seen him play.
Yo, he's leading the NBA in field goal percentage, isn't he? Mm-hmm. So
he's
even though
there,
they're not winning the most, I can see a change in them a little bit when it comes down to culture. And I kind of like it because I didn't expect much, and because they were kind of dead in the dumps just a few years ago, not in disrespectful sense. Half of them had so many off the court issues that, like, you thought they were the bad news bears. But I was really into that with them. And then, to be honest with you, Milwaukee Bucks, like, if we're going to be realistic, shout out to Milwaukee Bucks. They just beat the Warriors last night. Like I said, Ryan Rollins is unbelievable. They beat them without Giannis. And I got to give credit to Giannis because even when he lost to the Cavs, he talked to the team and was like, hey, y'all, I don't know what you all do, but good teams don't lose 2 times in a row. That's not what we're going to do. And they bounced right back, and they've been winning. And even as of last night, that culture, that toughness, that tenacity, even you look at Kyle Kuzma, he's stepping up and playing his role. You saw him versus the New York Knicks when he was able to hold Cat to like 8 points or something like that, 8 or 10 points. And it's like guys are stepping up, loving what they're doing, and this is another team that has a 50 win per year experience. You know what I mean? And they're playing with house money, and they're playing at a high level, and you have guys coming off the bench buying in.
So I'm not surprised that Kuzma's been better. I figured a full training camp, no midseason deal. He was going to figure some things out. I think that with the Bucks, though, man, like they need Giannis to play like a super duper star every single damn night. And he's doing that. Like he's leading the NBA as we tape this in field goals made. He is leading the NBA in 2-pointers made, 2-pointers attempted. He's averaging 37 points per game or 36 and change per game. Like, and this can't be like their margin for error is so slim that he's got to do it like that. He's got to be playing like that every single night. Charlotte, I've been waiting for the Charlotte breakout year. This Brandon Miller injury, though, is potentially terrifying. Like, if he's you know how it goes. Like, these shoulder injuries, like, is it rest? Is it going to need surgery at some point? You just never know with something like this. If he was healthy, I would have thought that, you know, the combination of LaMelo, who is, when he's under control, he's great. Miles Bridges loves playing with LaMelo. You know, Knipple is going to get better as the season goes on. They've got some pieces there, but if Brandon Miller winds up being out for an extended period of time, that's a big problem for them. The team that has surprised me in a negative way, though, like, what are the Pelicans doing right now? Like, what is happening down there? They're 0-4 to start the season. We were just giving praise to Miami for kind of how they adjusted and became an up-tempo team, and they kind of, you know, junked things up a little bit. Like, the Pelicans are doing that, but not in a good way. Like, they don't have much of a system either, with, at least to my eyes, with how they're playing down there. They're not efficient. They're not running. They're not sharp, it looks like, on the offensive end of the floor. Like, some of their key guys, like Herb Jones, seems to have forgotten how to shoot. They've just got a lot of guys out there that are really underachieving with this team. They're 27th in the league in defense. They're dead last as recently as yesterday in offensive rating. You know, I had one coach that texted me after, you know, playing against them, was like, it's just like playing a pickup game in your backyard. Like, that's just what it's like playing the Pelicans. And they try to drag you down into some bad games that they're playing. Like, Zion's been okay. He had a couple of really good games, one kind of bad one, but it's not good, Evan. It's not good down in Orlando. Like, I never want to see any coach get fired, but I can't see Willie Green lasting too much longer down there if this team continues to struggle.
No, I'm in agreement with you. I wasn't expecting much from New Orleans this summer when they made their acquisitions and stuff. I'm like, I guess, but I'm a big culture guy and your leader guy. Like, when Zion was like, hey, it's time to lock in, it's like, well, what have y'all been doing? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, what have you been doing, my guy? And when you look at that, it was like, I appreciate what Herb Jones brought to the table. I'm a big Jordan Poole fan, but even then, that sets the tone of being like, hey, we're trying to make the most out of a guy that is great off the bench. You know what I mean? When you're looking at Zion, you're trying to make the most out of a guy that has never led his team in any part of a season, you know, and now the West is even wilder and you're trying to buckle in, and it's like, where were the expectations going to come from? Shout out to Kevon Looney, but he does his job, but some of that stuff only looks good when it's with the best shooters of all time. You know what I'm saying? And I think the fact that they don't have so many power players or star players doesn't help the others be who they're going to be. So now you're literally looking at Herb Jones and being like, damn, he's not hitting threes. I've never once sat there and been like, yo, we need Herb's jumper tonight. You know what I mean? Like, it's the intangibles. Like, you're trying to bring stuff out of left field, and it's like, hey, this isn't, we only play 80s, you know what I mean? 80s soul music here. Like, we don't play hip hop. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's what's going on in New Orleans. And I think as much as anybody, they can kind of feel like if you don't have any star players and your defense isn't good and you're not a blue collar group, like the humility, you don't deserve to win. Like you have to muck up games. You have to be nasty. You have to be blue collar and literally use everybody has to star in their role. And if you're 27th in defense, bro, like there's bigger problems than that because what are we even talking? Like everybody knows you have to win with defense. Even when I walked in the locker rooms, I used to be like, man, this is a year I can't kick it around the gym like I want to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I probably can't be arguing with the coach too much this year. I got to be on time. And like, I definitely can't give up, you know what I mean? BS on defense. We have no room for error and those dudes are kicking it. Like they just came off a championship celebration. It's New Orleans, like lock in before they take the team, champ.
And look, as people know, this team has no incentive to be bad. Their first-round draft pick is going to Atlanta because of that crazy Derek Queen trade. They moved up 10 picks to draft Derek Queen. Like Derek Queen, he's been okay. He's coming off a summer injury. He's been all right. He better be a damn MVP. He better be all NBA because that pick, if it turns out to be a top 3 pick, if it turns out to be number 1, like Joe Dumars. Joe Dumars had a great run in Detroit, but on his resume is I drafted Darko Milicic over Carmelo Anthony. Like that's on his resume. This could be worse because at least that team won a championship, Evan. That team won a championship in Detroit, despite the fact that they drafted Darko. This team, if they have Zion and blow an opportunity to get another franchise player because they moved up 10 spots to get Derek Damn Queen, he better turn out to be a superstar, man. That's all I'm saying.
Man, if I was Willie Green, I'd be like, bro, don't fire me. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like I asked for a machine gun. They gave me a pea shooter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you're absolutely right. The trade up 10 spots, even if Derek McQueen was the coldest.
Derek Queen.
My fault. I'm tweaking. I'm so, like that threw me off, man. When you brought up Darko Milicic, the MMA fighter, I was like, man, Joe.
MMA fighter.
I was about to throw Joe under the bus. I'm like, former NBA player, we can't do that. Like you know what I'm saying? But what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Derek Queen, bro. And I love Derek Queen, but like, what were they gonna be? Him, like a poor man's version of like Jokic and Aaron Gordon, just too like you understand? Like, man, hey, bro, we need to stop doing this copycat stuff in the league to be realistic, bro. Like, no matter what, I love Jokic as much as possible. They won't even pick Buddy up first in the pickup games. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? So, like, not every like recipe is going to work for everybody. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, Trae Young is good, but is he Steph Curry? You can't replicate that. Even though Trae's at a high level, it's just like we are at a point where we want to do big threes and everybody wants to break something. But this is going to be a long year for New Orleans Pelicans. Like I'm exhausted just talking about them. I can't even believe we're talking about them.
Yeah, I think I had higher expectations why I'd bring them up. I thought, like, I saw the over-under of their win total was like 31.5. I'm like, no way. They've got Zion. They're like 2 years removed from a 49-win season. Like, Herb Jones can play. Trey Murphy can play. They made a couple of deals. Like, Sadiq Bey didn't play last year, but he's okay. Like, they got to get to like 500, right? And then I'm watching them play this year. I'm like, what are they doing? Like, what has happened? How did Trey Murphy forget how to shoot? Like, what's going on with him now? Like, there's a lot of guys just underachieving there. It just seems like the vibes around that team are just bad. They're just really, really bad. And
it's kind of similar to what happened with Memphis. Remember when you watched Memphis and New Orleans games? They were so fun to watch. The energy was so crazy. Like, you had the Jose Alvarado and stuff, but I just think, like, you know what I mean? They cup overrunneth and like the mojo and everything is gone now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when teams take those leaps, like 49 wins, they have to continue trying to turn the corner to keep that momentum up. And when guys get paid, that's a real thing. And it's like the elements got to them.
Yeah, and they're just in such a depressing basketball market. Like, the ownership doesn't really care about basketball. The Smoothie King Center sucks. Like, that's just one of the worst arenas in the NBA.
Yeah, but Juvie now shows up like 4 times a year and performs back that ass up, and it is like and all is right with the world.
Oh, great. Maybe she can be in Vegas when they move there. They relocate that team to Vegas or somewhere else, Seattle. Something
Seattle.
like that.
Shout out to Spencer Hawes. Seattle, baby.
Shout out to Spencer Hawes. E.T., great stuff as always, man. Looking forward to continuing to promote the Evan Turner, Lance Stevenson showdown, which could be coming to DAZN in 2027.
That was super. I threw 100 punches. Did you see that?
I missed it.
Right. Yeah, right. That fast.